Okay, so the biggest thing I'm going to be showing you today is how to do things with more complicated geometries than just a cube, which we were working with last week. And the biggest way you can do this is using a feature called Revolve. So I'm just going to show you this right now. You don't have to follow along just yet. I'll give you an activity in a second to do. But the way you use Revolve is you create a sketch. And for Revolve, I'm going to do it along this front plane just because it'll be easier just for me to picture it in my head. And I'm going to start just by making pretty basic shape. I'll go there, escape line. There. And let me just go ahead and dimension this before I get lost on anything. 100. 100. Okay. Once I make this shape, I'll demonstrate how to use this a little better. There. Okay. So I have a sketch here with a relatively complicated geometry if you were to make this the way we were doing it last time with just extrudes. The arc there makes it rather difficult if you wanted to make this 3D object. However, if you use the Revolve feature, which for me you can find here, but if it's not showing up, you can just hit the create drop down Revolve. Because this is my one and only sketch, it automatically selects this profile to be revolved. And then I select an axis to revolve it about. This will create a 3D object. Now, if I wanted to, I could sort of cut it off a little bit and do it that way. But instead, I'll just go ahead and do the full 360 degrees to make it all the way around. This object, if we were to try and make it the way we were working last week, would require you to make a base circle, extrude it up to here, make a plane, draw a circle up here, and then use a loft feature, which I haven't really shown y'all yet. But instead of that, we can simply do it by just making this sketch here and revolving it around its center axis. Revolve is a pretty powerful tool because of this, because it lets you make more complicated geometries relatively quickly. Something like this is not very hard to make overall. You can also use Revolve to do something a little different. In this case, I'll create another sketch along that front plane. And if y'all will give me just a moment to make it. Its dimensions aren't terribly important. This is just to demonstrate a point. So now that I have this second sketch here, kind of just sitting off in space, with part of it sitting inside the object I just made, if I use Revolve again with this feature, I select that, and then I select the center axis, if it will let me here, to revolve about. Now notice it's showing up in red this time. That's because it automatically selects the cut operation here. If I wanted to, I could select join and make it this sort of awkward shape. But right now I want to demonstrate the cut feature. This allows you to easily take out sections of what you've already made. So something like this. Not very difficult to do. It's just the same feature instead of joining, you're cutting. Now, one thing you'll also probably want to end up using at some point is something called a fillet or a chamfer. Basically, it takes these sharp edges here and either cuts it at an angle or it softens it by rounding it. It's, again, very, very simple to use. There's a feature here. You select whatever edge you want to use. In this case, I'll do this. And then you select a number. In this case, I'll just do 10 millimeters and it'll round it off a decent bit. That creates this softer edge along the bottom, as you can see here. I'll repeat that feature. Actually, I'm going to edit this first one. Because with fillet, if you go too far, say 100 meters, it'll either do something like this, where it'll completely turn it into a cone, or if you edit it even further, it can error. So if I go 500 millimeters, you see it pops up the error, because at that point it would be deleting too much of the shape and it just can't compute that. Okay. So I'm gonna undo this so I don't have the really awkward geometry there. And then to show you something else, if you go to modify, you can click on chamfer. This is similar to a fillet in that it works along an edge as well, but instead it cuts it at an angle like that. So instead of fully rounding it out, it just creates this nice little angled piece here between the two surfaces. Lastly, I'm going to show you, again, using some construction planes, just how to, one moment, where to go? I'm going to work with holes for a little bit. One way to make a hole, there is a hole feature here that's a little more complicated. An easy way to make a hole is just with a simple extrude, but I'm doing it this way to show you making a tangent plane. Last time we just used an offset plane, which was just straight from a surface. A tangent plane is you select a rounded surface such as this. It creates something tangent to the curve here. If you select 0 degrees, it'll just do it that way. And I'll select enter here. From here, you can go and create just a simple sketch along this plane. I'll just create a center diameter circle. So that's 10 millimeters. And then from here, you can finish your sketch. Go to extrude. Now notice it initially just wants to pull straight off of this surface. However, you can do the same thing that we did last time, and you can just turn it around and it begins to cut. In this case, because of the way this is made, there may still be a little bit of leftover material here where it doesn't cut it all off. That can happen, and if you want to avoid that, you can simply just change the directions to 2 sides. And then you can select your value as just say -10, and it will do that. So now we have something with a hole cut straight through it. To demonstrate a more official hole, this one will probably be a little less useful for us right now, is you use the hole feature here, and you select a surface that you want it upon. Notice that it just selects it right where I initially put it. So in this case, I'm going to move it over here to the origin just to make it easier for myself. From here, you can drag, or you can simply just input how wide you want it to be. I'll just do 50 millimeters is fine, actually. And notice there are different types. There's counterbore that creates a little bit of a drop inside of it. You can see sort of the shape of the hole there. There's this little bit of edge here and here. Or you can do a countersink, which creates an angle at the top. And then you can also select the degrees that you want that to be. I'll do 45. Then there's also different endings. You can have clearance. You can have it with threads if you wanted it for screws. And you can also have it down to a point or a flat point. So making this, we now have a hole in the bottom. And because I made it very deep, it goes all the way up through the top. Which if you pay attention to the surface here, let me select it real quick, down there. You'll notice that it has this point at the end. So now I'm going to give you all a little bit of time to practice. I'm not going to make y'all do all of that all at once. Right now, I just want y'all to make an ice cream cone. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll be walking around to help. Yes. Oh, okay. So you don't need to make a shape, you just have to have a sketch. So in this case, yeah. Go back. Go to your sketches. Okay, yeah. So from here, go ahead and just to demonstrate it, take a box. Make a box. I would make it. That's fine. That's fine. I have to just finish that. Dimension it. That way it doesn't shift on you. Yeah, you should get that. I just select it right now. I would say select the distance from there to the origin. You can pull on this side. This example. And then one more to both sides. Oh, that way you can just find it. Okay. So from here, go ahead and put the sketch up there. Go to create drop down. And you can hit the revolve button. It's also already up there, but now it already selected your sketch because that's the only one you have active right now. So now you select something to revolve. So in this case, select usually one of these edge. Yeah, yeah. So it revolved this shape all the way around. Okay. So you start with a sketch, you select your axis to revolve around, and then break it back. Good over here. I'm curious, did you make another sketch and revolve cut in center, please? Let me know if you need it.
That's my whole say.
Where's the? You have to finish your sketch first.
You already finished. Already finished your poem. I made the poem. Oh, I had to do the whole. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Basically, just do the same thing over again, but instead of like, it'll give you the option to just cut it instead.
Oh,
Like make
so
a
make
smaller
the-
cone and then cut it.
Okay, so make the sketch with the same dimensions but smaller.
Exactly.
Or then cut it out. Okay, all right. Yeah, how do I?
Just click it on the top. So like, if somebody you're gonna make the song, it's like, otherwise click that, you get the objects, and then specify how you want to. I don't think.
Wait, where's Shella?
Oh,
Oh, actually, I see. Oh, shoot. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna do fillet to make the edges a little bit lush.
It was not that. But I went through this earlier. That's what probably fix that is you can see. Probably that's great.
Have that described like after the.
It's. Yes.
Do I do
Sure,
it?
I'll give you there.
Do I do it on a sketch?
I would do that on the separate sketch.
On a whole separate sketch?
I would try.
Okay.
Here's your
And then
mic.
you can just select the different sketches.
Yeah.
When you go and select your axis. How's it going?
Good.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
So good. That's awesome. Pretty sure I got officially down there.
Yeah, you did what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it just looks kind of weird in the axis.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So I would try to start all of this from the origin. That way it's
Otherwise, they can create a template that's separate on outside of things and use the height of that. So to avoid that, I would start with that.
The width that is behind that one.
Yeah. Construction liability.
Slides. Slides. Yeah. It's slides that has.
So what's gonna happen here is it's gonna take that shape. It's gonna go out and around that. So instead of just spinning it, it's gonna spin it around that, just like out some of the sides. So what you want to do yeah.
Oh, did you just mirror it? I just saw. Okay, I should put it on. Gotcha. I can maybe thought about shell. Easily use.
Well, basically, I'm just gonna do the same thing you did to make the first one, you do it again on a smaller scale, and then instead of, it'll just give you the option to cut instead of join.
Oh, I say shell. What's the last week? I think I want to do it. Yeah, I think that's because like I put the epic book about 6. Yeah, which to go for. Review or something I can watch. Yeah, I'm recording us, and then I will probably find some videos to like this link. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to leave in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. One thing I do want to mention before some of y'all go is when y'all are starting your sketches, I would highly recommend, if not just demand, that you start them at the origin, because that will make things a lot simpler when using things like Revolve. I've noticed a couple of issues where people have them offset, and then when they try to revolve around that center axis, it doesn't do what they want it to do. Because what Revolve does is you select that axis and here's your shape. It will pull it around. So if you make your shape off in space here, and then you make your second sketch to revolve cut here, it's gonna pull it around this axis instead of just spinning it around the middle like you want it to. So just for the future going forward, that's something you should consider.
Yeah, should we save everything?
If you want to save it, feel free. It's not terrible.
Yeah. Which is what I sketched it.
Yeah. But if you would like to, I now have the ball 20 folder on the right. And you want to go
Just to see how, just to see where.
yeah.
I would say. I'm gonna have to go to.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Is it a test or something?
Yeah, there's an exam on Wednesday, so I'm gonna do it.
You're good. No worries.
I went to the, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they did like. I know. But-
Okay, so how's everybody feeling with this so far? Somewhat okay, wanting a little more practice probably. All right. In that case, let me pull my thing back here to here. We're going to slowly walk through the shape that I initially made. So start with making a new sketch somewhat like this. And if you want to, you can go ahead and save your current projects into the new member onboarding thing. There's the folder for fall 23 has been made, so you can go in, make your own folder with your name and save it under there just so you have it. Or if you don't want to, you can just delete it. It's not overly important. It's your choice. Starting your sketch.
You know.
I will be taking the math exam from 5 to 6:15, so I'll show up at 10.
No worries. No worries. School comes first. Don't worry about it.
Just not necessarily related to anything Thursday, but for like the the cake of the like particular spot.
Oh.
So how would you handle the cutouts with circle? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. That,
Like I know you did mirrors, like I'm not half and
yeah, so you wanna take like bridging along the side.
yeah, well, like on the top, so like. I was just messing around. I don't know. So like how they have the little like squares cut out in the top. How do you keep those like rotating along instead of just being like okay.
So the circle pattern should be able to make your
Okay.
one space like the center point.
And then it'll go around.
And you, I think it's like the number or the space.
Okay.
If I remember.
Okay.
Then.
Oh, we have with Oh, okay.
It's that right there.
To like sketch the just like one rectangle and then select that and then it'll project it on the
Yeah,
side.
you probably sketch one rectangle, go ahead and extrude in a little bit of
Okay.
else. And then you're gonna do the feature around that.
Okay.
Usually that is like sketching, they do that with sketching sometimes. This. It's not. Plastic goods.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So, it's a, like, yeah. When you draw like this, now, it's like consistent. Or like you're-
Yeah, if you wanted to make like some different, you know, gonna find this. I just wanted people to practice using it all that, but shell is so much faster.
And also, we like specifying techniques and stuff like this for like maps and stuff. You, that's how I do that. It's really, really good. Like, let's go out there and try like they can do something.
Or something like that.
It's kind of like hard to do.
It can be, yes. Usually you can add like a tolerance, but like also doing this,
So you can do
yeah, but that's for like that, we don't really need that.
that's a good.
Yeah.
It's going good. Just trying to figure out the little parts like the little intersection. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, but it's the general idea. It's fine. Oh, thanks.
Last year, you took it last year.
I have to pay very much, but it's slightly.
I
what I did is I wanted to show it. I think, if I remember correctly, it will be using like a sweep feature. And it's like next. That might be better. But again, I'll have a video for you. And I'll put speed up what we do. Cool. Let's go.
Can't figure out how to.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So, is this your sketch right now?
Yeah.
The way I have it done, if you look up there, is I use this box right here. I went through and sketched that on the same plane that I made the original outline. I make that box, then I revolve, cut that box around the center axis.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't.
Is that your own? It's like the way you have it right now.
Apparently, like, I went there. Everything is good with the date.
I guess, gotcha. I'm back. Is that looking better for you?
Sure, but I don't. I'm supposed to evolve it and cut it.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. Just. Select.
Oh, I can't.
I would try to select. It's not fine. Although where you drew it right now, it's gonna cut out all the material. So try to move it over a little bit. Okay. So if you just change like that side's location over, it'll just cut out some of it.
Are you good with how?
I don't know why it's.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the city, just like this.
It kind of what we're doing. I mean, what I've used most is just that point. That almost kind of.
That's really. It's a tool. For long enough. When you want to join things together, you like design it completely separately. Say I cannot separate.
Yeah, which we can do, we can make this. And then they have. That's why I think it's like that set up. I would try to get things out of work somehow.
Well, my main issue is like, I know how to get to this part of like, that when people did say, oh, they should be trying. And then. And I don't know exactly how we. So like.
Okay. So you. Yeah, you have your triangle. Obviously, you can define it, but for now, yeah. Go ahead and finish the sketch. Okay, so from here, go to your Revolve. So selected that. So now you want to select this app. Oh, that's good. Sorry. What I would try to do is use a plan of mine, make a triangle. Yeah, like have your right hand down here. Head out, I got to drive like a big.
So it's, yeah, it's just something else, just to mess around with it. But that's fair.
Yeah, no, I was
Just trying to get like familiar with all the different functions.
Yeah, I get that. If you want to practice like the fillets and chamfers, you can go back to your other one. Just play with the edges and see how they work.
Okay.
Because like what I was doing when I was demonstrating is I like chamfered, I filleted the bottom a lot just to see how it like created a dome.
Okay, cool. That's the modify.
Yeah, that's under modify. Yeah, it's the
So what I did at first was I made the right triangle. I did it, I made it work perfectly.
Yeah.
And then I realized I made my triangle too big, instead of like bleeding it, I just like tried to like, fillet or fillet, whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up like, going to or half, and then ended up making like a smooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
top.
Yeah.
So then I was
Yeah.
thinking of making it like a cylinder, like a sphere, and then trying to make it from that way or that sphere. Kind of combining what we did last time, but, you know.
Yeah.
I was gonna put like,
I do want you to see the middle crack, same thing. Revolve got it. Okay. So, no, you're fine, actually. It'll be okay. What you want to do for revolve gun, it's the same way. So you'd make pretty much the same triangle, just a little bit inside. And then that would, once you revolve it around that crack, it automatically just come down.
and just the same dimensions of what I made previously, or
A little bit less, but I would do it from one side. Because if you do it right now, it'll do something weird.
let's say, on the right side.
Yeah, well, that was fine. And then you just want to make your triangle kind of just. Cut it out. That is.
It's good.
Good. If you have any questions, let me know. I would recommend trying to make the little hole I have.
Okay.
Yeah, just use that, using the construct drop down. It'll let you make a plane. Yeah, tangent.
So I made the other so we did 25 by 25, we did 20 by 20, and I'll get it installed.
Oh, okay, so what you'll wanna do,
Just not made like the other way.
yeah, the way so it matches. Think about it, when you
Yeah,
revolve it, it's gonna cut out any.
I realized after I made, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, there was. By the way, I'm trying to get everybody. You're to Boston?
Logan.
Logan?
Yeah.
Awesome. It's fun to get there. It's like, where we get you all, but
Yeah, that's, we don't need that with us.
sorry. You can set that up.
But like, we did like,
Yeah, I mentioned.
we do actions.
Yeah, each of them have their top now.
Yeah, this is whatever. This is just like awful. This I would no practice. I can find afterwards.
That's actually, probably, it's like. But. Saying a lot. Okay. Oh, 30%.
Yeah, what I've been doing is like I got on a holiday that I did, which is I made you buy like that. Right by the door, put it down, and then I put it all the way to the top, so we got actually put it inside. But then when I had shape, it's like I'll build it up on the side and then do it on top of that. Rather than like. Like if I was to add something here, the way I've been doing it, it's like I'll go on top. Yeah, she puts that on, I want to put like a rectangle. Here. I know we have to do it. Yeah, in general, you would probably want to avoid doing that. Sounds like I don't know. I don't know. That to avoid doing that is what we use our dimensions. It's setting different dimensions with respect to coordinates. That set that different. So like if you wanted to make say this circular shape of the map, you can do that again with Revolve. You would make just a little arc. That's pretty revolve. Yeah. Revolve that around and it would already be right there. If that's what you want.
It's not the same.
I got no idea.
Did you go in there beforehand or did you start making shapes?
I spent like 5 years in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what he is. Did you want to?
Oh, you should.
I just made the distance so I can just chew it on.
No, yeah. That's good. You guys have. That's in the file somewhere.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
great somewhere in the file.
Shared it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that is the most unorganized.
You guys
file.
have
Yeah, I made one. In case you had to dip out and want somebody else had to land. I'm also helps with many things like PowerPoints. How to get good. Yeah. Basically, what people seem lost, people seem good, pacing fine. How does the pacing feel? Fusion, good? Good. I mean, it's like bias, of course, going into my narratives. Dude, it sucks so bad.
Yeah, no, what I try to do is show them like a demonstration of everything. Give them a small activity, practice like one of them, and then let them free practice to make like, whatever.
So
ideas.
everybody go and do it along with it? Is that?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Anybody who doesn't need to be here? Or pretty much everybody's.
There was one guy that was interested in his name. I think she. Yes, personally. Like she, I like told like nice practice it just looking at the triangle. And like she did that easy, obviously, and then she made and then wanted to put like
Wait, hold on, wait.
but like she made like little small cones to get like a chocolate.
made like one of those, and she was like, how do I put like the little indentions that are on the top? Like, no, you just do a circle of that. So I like showed her how, she like showed her where to find that. She made that. I was like,
I thought you would use the texture, like a wall. Jesus, she thinks like, because you, the way you would do that is you take mesh and then wrap
wrap it.
mesh.
Yeah.
That's nuts. It's good. Yeah. Honestly, it's like pretty advanced.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to be like, okay. Do you feel like okay, or is it like this is?
For the most part, we're okay. I think the people who missed Friday were a little bit more behind, so I was spending for some of them. Yeah. But
Cats-
that's,
Yeah, even if they watch the video, it's just like it just doesn't supplement
no, that's.
doing it in person.
It-
Also,
it's-
cat is way easier when somebody else is doing it with you.
I think it's like also